السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. مرحبا شباب، نكمل لعبة ميتال جير معكم. يلا يا رب.
The area ahead is under total Soviet control. Miller's been captive for 10 days. Not much time left.
Weather will clear shortly.
Storm's passing.
Getting used to it?
يعني ماشي الحال، تعودنا عليها. هلا مجربة.
After 9 years on ice, solo infiltration of the Soviet main ground forces should be the perfect one.
أيوة، هلا هي بس ساعتها تسخين يعني هلا.
Kazuhira Miller is being held in Dawandehar to the north. Check its location now. Take out your iDroid.
Open close the ID.
You see Wandy on the map? That's where they're keeping Miller.
Market
Only
placed.
problem is we don't know his exact location. Finding it is your first priority.
Marker placed. Marker removed.
Go ahead and close the iDroid. Got your binoculars? Or should I say, your int scope? See the village? Straight ahead? All right, that's the village. If you see something through the binoculars and you need more information, just give me a call. I'll tell you anything I can about it.
Enter support code. No.
Marker placed.
Take a look through your binoculars. That's Violo Village, the Violo Calais. The villagers fled the war and evacuated a while back. Since then, it's become a base for the Soviets' 40th Army. A few days ago, Miller was taken through there, en route towards Dawandehar. You may be able to pick up the trail there. It's worth a shot. Put a marker on it so you don't lose track of where it is.
نحط مارك.
Marker
Good.
placed.
Now you won't have to worry about getting lost along the way. He can't have much left in him. I give him 3 days, tops. If we fail, and he dies, we lose our chance of revenge. But we need more intel. If you just go charging into Dawandehar, you'll be putting both your lives at risk. See what you can find out first.
Okay.
The Soviets have other outposts, not just the one you saw. Afghanistan is a big place. I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. How and where you make it, well, that's up to you. From here on out, you're on your own. You're a legend in the eyes of those who live on the battlefield. That's why you have to handle this mission yourself. Put those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss. That's how Koss would want it. I'll be sending additional intel by radio. Stay sharp. Not one of Miller's bodyguards survived. And they were good. All we found on the scene were their corpses and knees. You'll be missing them. And you're his only hope of getting them back.
وين رايح وتاركني لحالي؟ طيب صار لي 9 سنين ما اشتغلنا بهالشغلة، بدك ترجعنا عليها لحالنا؟
Let the legend come back to life.
الله يستر ما تموت دغري. Shit, speed to
Hold it. There's a Soviet guard post. There are bound to be guards. Take a look with your binoculars. Put the enemy in the center of your field of view. That's marking. Focus on the thread and it'll be marked automatically. You can mark enemies and vehicles by zooming in with your binoculars or camera. Once they're marked, you'll also see their positions on the map. Security at that guard post is relatively light. It's like a perfect place for a warm-up. Try to remember the ways you used to deal with enemies. Anytime you need advice, just give me a call.
روق روق، شو دبابة عم تمشي؟ روق روق روق، شوي 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 شوي.
Sight, sound, keep all your enemy senses in mind. When you're near an enemy, stay low and move slowly. Don't leave bodies out in the open. Find some place to drop them out of sight.
نحو على الشلف اللي سلفوا اياه. نعم ضربوا.
Post captured.
اطلع من راسي. شوف. ايش لفوق؟ ايوه
You're almost at the enemy outpost, Vialo Village. The village is crawling with enemy soldiers. Don't just go waltzing in. Start with some recon. Is there anywhere that overlooks the village?
نعم شلون كافي هلا؟ يلا طيب.
There should be a command post somewhere. See any buildings with tighter security? If there are clues to Miller's whereabouts, I'll bet you can find them in there.
Проверить боеприпасы! Прекратить огонь! Прекратить огонь!
КП, это Зоя 7. Потерял визуальный контакт. Перемещаюсь к последней известной позиции. Прием. Это КП, понял. Проверьте, но осторожно. Конец связи.
Нужно прикрытие!
That's a type of medicinal plant. Bring it back to base. It's sure to be useful sometime.
Стоять!
КП, это Зоя 7. Никаких признаков противника. Обыскиваю местность. Прием. Это КП, понял. Следите за ними. Не позволяйте им ходить с фланга. Конец связи.
Прошу поддержку!
Your suppressor is no longer effective. Bear in mind your weapon will be louder now.
Антизащитный огонь!
cell files of some kind in there. Huh? Is that?
You have arrived at your destination. Intel
So you
file.
picked up an intel file.
Arrived at
Now
your
we know where Miller is. I'm marking it on your iDroid.
The map has been updated.
شو عم يساوي هذا هون هلا؟ والله ما ايوه
He said I was in a British military hospital, but the doctor had a Greek accent.
They hire locally. Easier to trust them. Tekeli is also home to Greek Cypriots, after all.
What about the Turks? They haven't returned to the south.
Not yet. The Cyprus dispute is still a long way from resolved. The country is just as split as it was in '74. Turkish Cypriots in the north, Greek Cypriots in the south. Between them, the Green Line, the UN established.
And Deucalion sits right on top of it.
It does. Part of the buffer zone between the two groups. Another reason it was the perfect place to hide you. Easy to spot any outsiders snooping around.
So how do things stand?
Last year, the Turks declared that the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus is an independent state, though it's only Turkey that recognizes it. In the past, the Greeks and Turks lived side by side in the same villages. There are reasons to fight. Those came from the outside. Greece, Turkey, Britain, America, they all have their own stake in pitting the two sides against each other. But once you spark something like this, it's impossible to control. Both sides build up grudges like debt, without the foresight to see that each act of revenge just fans the flames, and then it's too late for other nations to rush in with peace talks. The embers keep on smoldering. Each nation's arrogance only breeds anarchy. The world is paralyzed by this hunger. It's an enemy guard post. No Watch yourself.
مو معنا ما حنقرب عليها ها يا
You're up.
We're changing ships.
We can't go sailing the Suez in a whaler.
The Suez Canal. When did they reopen it?
قناة
Not long
السويس
after you were attacked. Once they finished sweeping it for mines after the Arab-Israeli conflict. Can you stand? We're going to transfer to a container ship for passage through the Suez. Our destination is Pakistan, Afghanistan's neighbor to the south. There, we disembark and head via Peshawar to the Zero Line, the border. We'll travel to the Khyber Pass by... You've reached one
والله
day.
أصيل الحصان
They've got Miller locked up in that town. Check your iDroid for his location. I hope to hell he's all right. He's not your average client. They'll do better on horseback. It's a local guerrilla tactic. They use the higher ridges to avoid air recons. Then they charge down the mountains for ambushes. The Soviets still haven't devised a counter strategy. Our time frame is only half as much as we really need. It's gonna be a tough march.
Better horses.
شوف كم واحد
Well, it'll make for a good
نعلمهم
physiotherapy.
يصير الواحد
Take the time
أسهل
to get used to that new arm.
While the Soviets have indicated they are not participating in the Los Angeles Olympics, primarily because the United States has made no attempt to guarantee the safety of the Soviet Union's athletes, the United States is increasingly demonstrating the belief that the issue has nothing to do with its preparations, and in fact this is retaliation for the Western nations' boycott of the previous Moscow Olympics. That concludes today's news.
That's quite some news.
The Soviet Union not attending the LA Olympics?
أكيد هو.
Andropov's death has changed some things. They're calling it revenge for the Western boycott of the Moscow Olympics.
Countries boycotted the Moscow Olympics.
Yes.
خلاص بعدين
In protest of the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Over 50 countries were absent. It's too bad I didn't get to see Yamashita's judo. When the 40th Army crossed the Amu River 4 years ago, you were hospitalized.
خلاص اسكو ضيع خلي الساعات عم تقر. خلينا نرجع نشتغل. هنا خلينا بالمسدس. بطارية هني. في هون 1 2. أنا لازم نروح واحد هيك. حلو. كأنه في عالم هنيك. ما بيطلع من هون. اطلع. اطلع يا معلم.
Я получил письмо от Гриши. Саня погиб.
Так он не выжил? Черт. На прошлой неделе тот новенький совсем потерял голову. Его быстро увезли домой. Никогда не закончится.
У нас еще не так плохо. Мой приятель из штаба говорит, что треть войск в Панчере сменяется каждые полгода.
Так много?
Наши войска в общем теряют больше 100 человек в месяц. Так было последние 3 года.
Но мы их больше валим.
Я с тобой, товарищ, успокойся.
Иногда кажется, это все зря.
Может, я буду следующий.
يلا خلصونا بقى.
Все, забыл.
قوم روحوا عنا. نعرف شلون نصيده. هذا فينا نصيده. شوي بنطلع من هون. تعال نشوف. لا نشوف. عاد تدرب على الهواء.
That's the building, boss. That's where they're holding Miller.
فتنا انقذناك، بس هو ده اللي طلع شلون نطلع مطرح ما اجينا.
No more use for me, huh?
ما فيك شي، ليكك بس عينك مقلوعة وايدك مقطوعة
I'm here to get you out.
واكلت هاي الحاجة.
They do something to your eyes? No, it's just bright as all.
اوه ده يكزلوك تبعك. رجع الغالي يا بي، رجع الغالي.
What took you so long?
والله مو بيدي، كنت بغيبوبة. ان شاء الله بدك تطلع نحن عم نعتلو. لا هيك ما اتفقنا هيك.
You've secured the target. I'll send the chopper to get you out. Make your way to the RV. You can check the location on your iDroid.
Mission info has been updated.
You look well. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit. Not so heavy anymore, right?
Yeah. نعم شلته مو طبيعي. والله من هون جيت، انا من هون جيت.
Support helicopter has arrived.
I've been waiting 9 years to hear him. Kept you waiting, huh? Come on. Say for all time's sake.
لك وين شرفت لك اجدو؟ ليش عم تشركه؟ شو عم تتعب منه؟ شو هذا لعب الماء؟
That's a rough diamond. Good find. We'll fetch a high price. Ищу последние точки соприкосновения. Прием! Это КП, понял. Обследуйте сектор. Но осторожно. Конец связи.
على الطيارة يا أخي. ليش ما فيك الهبوط؟ طب وين غاز؟ مين هذا غاز؟
It's them.
It's him. ليش هيك هدول جايين مثل الزومبي؟ نعم والله صاروا زومبي. يلا طيب هدول يقاتلوا.
Boss, watch out. It's the skulls.
ايه شو
Don't let
نعمل؟
them find us.
Extraction arrived.
Whatever that mist is, it's all around you. We can't see through it. I'm changing the RV so it's outside the mist. Get
ايوه
over
بقى.
there. The chopper will be waiting.
روح يا قاتل يا ماتوت. اجوا شافوني والله. سريع عليك على المنظر. شوها. ايه لا بدك ترحمني تراني. امرك معلم. 1000 طلب مثل الطلب. نعم هدول عم يسبوا الحصان. لا تمشي. هنتر الحصان. الحصان بده ياخذ جا. لا لا اسحق اسحق
Support helicopter has arrived.
تبرو. هاي تبرو. والله هذا الحصان ماله والي.
The mist is cleared, and it looks like they're gone.
ايوه الحمد لله. ريحوا للحصان. امشي شوي.
Those things. That's the unit that attacked just before. They came at us real fast in the same kind of mist. Ah, man. Survivors from 9 years ago were wiped out in minutes. I don't know what they want, but it's them. No mistake.
Put Miller in.
Updated.
This is Pequod. There's an obstruction at the LZ preventing me from landing.
Support
This is
helicopter
Pequod.
has
There's
arrived.
an obstruction at the
Down,
LZ preventing me from landing. Request immediate removal.
هروب يا ابي هروب. ايه يا ابي تعالوا والله نجيب اجركم. تعالوا. مين ده يجي عندي؟
Buddy departing area of operation.
والله لا تعالوا عندي. بال500. هذا مو 500 مليون.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.